What is up, guys? We are back, baby. AKA I'm back.
Yay!
And welcome back to Rise and Grind. I'm super happy to be back. Meg, thank you for holding down the fort.
I'm so happy you're back.
You crushed it. Yeah, you crushed it. You held on the fort. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Megan crushed it. And guys, I'm back. I'm recharged. I'm ready to go. Father of 3 now, which is bananas. Last time when I left, it was all still in theory, right? So like now it's actually happening. Feel super, super blessed and grateful. But I'm ready to rock. Good. Like, I'm ready to get back into it.
Tell everyone how you're feeling now. You're feeling great.
I'm feeling amped up. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling ready to go. You know, it's funny. A lot of people who, like I've heard from in the past, who have kids. Some people are employees. Some people are business owners. But like, they all have different opinions of like what it's like after having, you know, your either first kid or first 2 kids, and then going back to work and stuff. For me, I don't know. Like, adapting social is my first child, right? And so the wild part about it is like this year, adapting social turned 16. And when you think about it,
16-year-old.
Right. And when you think about it, like it's something that will always be such a priority in my life.
Right.
And so for me, like it wasn't like, you know, this is actually the first time. So like with Johnny, like I actually like unplugged more so than I normally would.
Yeah.
But like I was still checking in every now and again. But like this time I was fully active the whole time. Like I was working.
There
I
were
was
some
doing
times
stuff.
where I was like, go away.
Yeah. But like, you know what though? Like it's like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, we used to say this in the past more often, but for me, it's truly work-life harmony. You know, but I'm charged up. I'm ready to go. But most parents are like, oh, when you go back, you know, you are like not wanting to be at work or you're wanting to do whatever. And listen, that's everybody's different, right? And I'm talking about the guys I've spoken to. But for me, like I love that harmony and balance of both. Like I love, like right now, like obviously I'm still working from home, you know, coming to office a couple days, you know, a week. But like I love going home and seeing them, like after not being with them for a little bit, and it's like
a little reward.
Yeah. So it's good. But I'm more motivated than ever, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, we do what we do because also outside of it, like, you know, we want to leave a legacy. And now having 3 kids, like, you know, you want to be in that place where, you know, your kids are proud of you, right? And the people around you, your parents, of course, still. So anyway, boom, let's fucking get after it today.
Awesome.
Happy Monday.
Last week, I was talking about the game The Circle, which, have you ever watched The Circle?
I'm not.
You might like it. Jacqueline would like it, I think, because, so the game basically is where contestants are put into separate rooms. You're isolated for a week, 2 weeks, however long it is, and you can only communicate through text messages and like fake social media profiles that you set up. So the whole game is structured on like, what is your perception of somebody if you never meet face to face, just by what they say, and do you like them, do you not like them? And this season they put an AI game player in the mix, and nobody knew who it was. So you thought you were talking to a real person, but really it was AI, and they trained this AI bot so freaking well. The communication was so human-like.
Wow.
The tonality was crazy. They ended up voting out a real human contestant.
Rather than AI.
Yeah, and last week I was saying, like, how long will it take for them to catch the AI? They outed themselves. They were, as soon as the human contestant was voted out, the AI bot was like, you dummies. Like,
really?
I was the AI, yeah. And
why would it give itself away so early?
I think they didn't want the AI bot playing so long.
Oh,
They just wanted to shake things up a little bit. But it was really interesting to see the other contestants start to spiral a little bit. Like, they were really second guessing every conversation they had with every contestant within there. Like,
I would too.
What does AI sound like? Like, how do I actually know if it's AI or not? There was an AI programmer playing in the game, and he couldn't even catch who the AI bot is. So it really makes me think, like, what will the evolution of AI be in the future? If we can't catch it now, how will we catch it in the future?
Yeah.
So that was interesting, and I had to give an update because
That's really cool. I'm gonna watch that. What is that, Netflix or something?
yeah. So that's on Netflix, season 6.
It's called Circle.
The Circle.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's really entertaining. But then last weekend, we also saw that there was an Instagram glitch that temporarily deleted millions of followers.
What?
Millions.
Wow.
And what was really interesting is that on the
When you say followers, you mean users or followers?
followers. So like some users signed on and went to look at their insights and saw that they were missing, just like you lost millions of followers. Their follower counts weren't affected, but all of their insights were.
Huh.
And it's interesting because we keep seeing a lot of glitches take place across all digital platforms, from social media to search engines, it seems like there's glitch after glitch after glitch taking place. So everybody, please stay vigilant. Don't panic if a glitch does take place. Just make sure that you have the right tools in place or the strategies in place to be able to continue on. For example, if you are on social media and you all of a sudden lost a ton of followers, how else are you going to communicate with your target market? Are you on other social platforms? Do you have an email list? Don't put all of your eggs in one basket, essentially, because technology is technology. It could fail literally at any time.
Well, the perfect example, it's a good point. The perfect example of that is how many people do you know that got hacked on Facebook? And then they're just totally screwed.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, it's like a scenario where, like, okay, well, who do you call? Like, Facebook's not getting your account back.
No.
And you could try all these different things, but typically you're screwed. So that's why one thing I just want to say, with that, all bearing that in mind, right? Like, it's really important that on all of your different socials, emails, all of the things that matter to you, that you have two-factor authenticators set up, or different things like that, so that no matter what, if someone tries to hack you, you will be notified and you can shut it down before it happens. So many people who get hacked on Facebook, as an example, or whatever else, like or Instagram and stuff, it's when they don't have the two-factor and somebody gets your password and then you're done. See ya.
Yep.
You're never getting that account back. So it's like you have to seriously take those things, like like Megan just said, like these things can be taken away from you, which is wild when you think about it. 'Cause some people make their living off it. It's really important.
Yeah.
But one thing we're going to dive into later, and I'm going to make some content about, and some other segments, is, we talk about a lot with marketing that, building a customer base, getting more revenue in your door, getting more customers, clients, the whole thing. Guys, it's a popularity contest. Who is more visible? Who is not visible doesn't make money, doesn't get more clients. Who is visible and who is popular and who people know, they make more money and get more clients. The easy, quick example for this, so many people who have brick and mortars, right? So as an example, Napping Social, our New Jersey location, we have, I think it's like 100,000 cars drive by on a weekly basis, right? And I could be botching those numbers. I don't know if it's weekly or monthly, but either way, there's a lot of cars that drive by, right? So nonetheless, we've been here for 4 years. In 4 years, we've quite literally only had maybe 3 or 4 clients, that potential clients come in, walk in, be like, hey, like, looking for stuff. I saw you guys, like whatever. And that's in 4 years. We wrapped our windows, right? And that puts what we do, flexes a little bit on certain things we're proud of, whatever. And literally in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, we've gotten like 15 inquiries, right? And one of them is a mayor from another town, actually, that Rob just told us the other day. So it's like,
that's cool.
Visibility is so important.
Yeah.
And so for the people out there that have brick and mortar, if you have a physical location and you don't have great signage, you are hurting yourself. You need to set that up. I'm kicking myself in the butt because for so long I thought about wrapping the windows.
I know.
But I'm such a aesthetic over function person that I'm like, I don't want to ruin the windows. I want the beauty of the windows and the light coming in to not be disrupted. And if I did what we finally did now, then how many more clients could we have had?
Oh, a bunch.
Right. So like so mistake on my part, but learn from my mistakes. The point of these morning talks here in the show is learn from our mistakes and get this information. But nonetheless, again, if you're brick and mortar, you have to make sure that, and I know each town has different policies and stuff, but you have to have great signage that people simply know who you are and what you do. If they don't know that by driving by real quick or walking by real quick, then the signage isn't going to work.
Right.
So it has to be super simple, super dumbed down. But now on the other side of the spectrum, if you're not a brick and mortar and you're fully e-com, right? Or you're a realtor as an example, which you're not brick and mortar in that case. You're technically e-com in that case. You have to make sure that the popularity contest and your visibility, that's 100% on social media and marketing efforts. If people aren't seeing you, you don't exist.
Right.
And I get it. A lot of people build their careers, right? If you're in e-com and you're like selling, we just actually had not so long ago the lady who invented Dreamland baby nighttime swaddles on, and they're an amazing company. She's freaking awesome. And anyway, but long story short, like when you look at that, like, so there is no brick and mortar. She's fully e-com and she's crushing it, but she makes sure that she's visible everywhere. She's in mom groups all over Facebook. She's all over the place, and they move product, right? And there are so many people out there, right? Like in the next few weeks, we're going to be going. We have the conference, or the thing we're speaking at. What's it called?
The Real Social Conference.
Real Social. Yeah. Sorry, Stulak. Real Social. Real Social. We're getting real social out here, but it's like so many people that are agents or salespeople. It drives me bananas because like they're doing what I did 4 years ago. They're like, I don't want to put this up on social. I don't want to ruin my brand, or I don't want to like look cheesy. And guys, that's your only billboard. That's your only storefront. That's your only. So if you're not constantly creating content or putting yourselves out there or using a little bit of a marketing budget on Meta, boost a couple posts, boost a couple things, like get yourself out there to your right audiences, then you don't exist. So again, it comes back to a popularity contest. If you're visible and you're there and people know who you are, then you're going to win business. And in some cases, and in most actual cases, when you look at things like McDonald's, when you look at things like, well, actually, let's zoom in on McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't make the best burgers, right? Does Rob love them? Yes. Does he eat a bunch of them? Yes.
No.
Does he feed it to his kid? Does he feed it to his kid? Unfortunately,
sometimes.
Yes. But nonetheless, like, it's not the best burger, but they sell billions and billions of burgers still, right? And why is that? Because they brand it everywhere and they have locations everywhere. They're visible and they're convenient, right?
Yep.
And they're marketing themselves. So like that rule and like that whole concept is duplicatable, right? That's why when you see people who have, again, let's even just use our friends at eCleanBro, right? Like eCleanBro, like how did Jamie go from $300 to a $25 million business? And he did it by literally putting billboards everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Yeah.
And you couldn't go anywhere without seeing these damn billboards, right? And it helped them build that credibility. And because like typically when you see a billboard, people are like, wow, that's cool. Like if they know the person, like, oh wow, they got billboards, they got it like that.
Yeah.
And when you see a gazillion billboards all over the parkway and all over the towns that you live in throughout your communities, you're like, all right, well, you know what? I don't want to make dinner. I don't want to make lunch. And eventually you cave in and guess what you get? You get eCleanBro because you're thinking about it, right? So bottom line is, guys, if you take anything away from the show that we constantly do all the time, you have to put yourself out there. You have to spend a little money to boost your posts or get some ads out there for yourself, especially if you don't have a physical brick and mortar location. If you don't have a physical brick and mortar location and you are not doing any of this, don't ask yourself, why am I not growing? Why am I not making money? Why am I not building my business? Because you are hurting yourself. And that is the one thing that everybody needs to know and have to take accountability for. If you're not doing it, you're not going to make money. And that's the one thing that I love, tried and true about sales, is if you're not out there hunting and you're not learning from your hunts and your losses, you're not going to eat. And so you need to get out there.
And there's unconventional ways to do that too. I mean, aside from billboards, I actually was driving and there's a car wash on 34. And Sal, I was looking.
Yeah, PJ's car wash.
Yeah, Sal has
the bench.
Yeah, the bench out there.
Yep.
And it is so, I mean, I was a few cars back from it, but I could see very clearly that it was Sal, what he had to offer, and it was somewhere where I wasn't looking for a billboard, it was just a bench with the information on it. Think about how many people drive by that.
Yeah, and I see Sal's face.
Yeah, so again, if you don't have a physical location or need other locations to market in, it doesn't have to be a billboard or social media. Find other creative ways to create a touch point too.
Totally. And again, and honestly, to your point, like there's multiple ways to do it. And one, it's like so funny. Like there's companies who sell ad space on tabletops in diners, the little mats at diners. Like and
at the grocery store,
right? Not that those things, like if you have a small budget, I would never go on those routes. But I'm saying if you're somebody who wants to just paint the town fucking red, like you need to be everywhere. There's very affordable options that like are like those types of things, right? So it's like just bearing all those things in mind. You have to know that if you're gonna win business and be out there and be in front of everybody, you have to know people. People have to know who you are. You got to be popular. You got to be out there.
All right. The next trend that I have is Google's CEO is saying that search engine usage is up right now since they rolled out search generative experience, which
young money.
I could definitely, I mean, even myself, I'm finding that every search that I put in on my phone, I'm getting an AI written response to. And I'm loving it because I don't have to go through all of search to find the right answer. It's right there for me. So I could see how search usage might be up. But organic search traffic is going down because
Yeah.
people are not going over to websites from organic search. So again, we've been talking about this. It's going to continue on. There are 2 things you can do to help optimize through search generative experience, and that's 1, making sure that you implement enough structured data throughout the site. Structured data can be complex, so if it sounds like a foreign language to you, reach out to us and we can help walk you through it a little bit, but it's so important that your site has the right structured data on it. And the second is optimizing for more long tail keywords. So you're focusing now not just on 1 word, but on an entire sentence. So 5 or more words put together as a search query. And you're going to create blog content, videos, FAQs, as much content as possible around those questions. And if you do that, you should be okay with organic search traffic. If you cannot keep up with all of that, again, you can reach out to us, or there's other strategies to help.
We got your back.
Yeah, up on search.
Where's our BAM button?
Ba-bam! You know, I haven't been using it.
Where the hell is it?
I know. I feel like you're typically the.
I know. That was a good one. All right. Well.
Okay, now there is a campaign that I came across that I love for so many different reasons, but I think that this is just such a unique collaboration. So, do you remember the Calvin Klein viral campaign with Jeremy White and his tidy whities that happened like a few months ago?
I don't know who Jeremy White is.
Okay, well.
I know who Calvin Klein is.
There was, okay, so you know the typical Calvin Klein ads then, in
Yeah.
the tidy whities,
Yeah.
you know. This one was on top of, you've seen the campaign. This one was on top of a New York City rooftop, and a luggage company ended up spoofing it.
Oh, yeah,
Remember that?
yeah, we saw it, yeah.
Okay, so Tushy, the bidet brand,
Yeah.
is also partnering with Calvin Klein to push the Tushy, right? But what I'm finding really interesting is that they paired up with a influencer who has a page that is Got to Go NYC. And you know how difficult it could be to find a public restroom in New York City.
Boy, do I.
It is near impossible.
If I had $1 for every time I had to absolutely pee my pants in New York,
Right?
and buy a random something
I know.
at a store, there's actually,
to use the bathroom?
if you're anybody tuning in right now, go back to a vlog with me and one of our video guys, Ty, in New York City, and we were running around New York all day long, and then at the end, it was I think it was either Labor Day or Memorial Day. It was Labor Day or Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and it was literally the day before, and we were in like 2-hour traffic in New York, and we had to go so bad that we parked illegally, ran into 4 restaurants that wouldn't let us use the restroom. Went into 3 boutiques that wouldn't let us use the restroom. Finally ended up at the bar.
Oh my gosh.
And we had to buy drinks and then wound up chilling and having some drinks. Which is the best way to do it. You know, it's the best way to do it.
What a journey.
Yeah.
Seriously though, it is so hard to find a
But
public restroom.
but that to date was the best peeps of my life.
I bet.
There was never a better pee in my life than that.
It probably felt so just like, oh, finally.
Holding a pee for 2 hours.
There is nothing worse than having to go from door to door in New York looking for let alone a clean public restroom.
Right. Well, for guys, it's like, this ain't gotta be clean. You know, you're standing.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I'm saying, like, yeah, but for girls, yes.
I'm a little,
yes.
yeah.
No, for girls, it's so different. You're sitting down on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But literally, though, the one thing I will say, though, is that when it comes to those types of things, I'll say it after. Finish your saying.
Okay, so basically, this account, Got to Go NYC, she goes and finds public restrooms and then rates them on the account. So Tushy, again, we're talking about a nice brand, a luxury bidet that you can have at home, and they're partnering with this account and Calvin Klein to make sure that you keep your tidy whities clean in New York. And I think it is the funniest, most creative, and also just mind-boggling campaign because these are all Calvin Klein's a prestigious brand. Tushy is also a prestigious brand. And then you
Adapting Social, prestigious brand. Who else you got?
But then you have them rating public bathrooms, and it's making people, it's a pain point that a lot of New Yorkers have, or people who have been to New York, so it makes you think twice. You get sucked into the account, but it's also pushing the Tushy brand. So I just think it's such a creative way for all of them to come together and collaborate, and we're finding more and more campaigns take place like this, where you're partnering with brands that maybe you wouldn't think go hand in hand, but it's actually a really unique partnership. So that's, food for thought. What were you going to say about
I was going to say, for New York, though, the one thing that they could do better, like most businesses, especially right now, we're hearing a lot that New York City has been really difficult for businesses to survive, especially the brick and mortars, because the traffic in New York is just like not where it used to be. People aren't working, right? Like when you think about it, like people are not going into the city to work as often, so they're not getting lunch, they're not getting coffee, they're not going to yoga, whatever. And it's like, so the things are changing there, and even the weekends are shifting a little bit where it's not as crazy as it once was. And so it's like one of these things where it's like, you know, for people who are like, no, you can't use my restroom, it almost might even be, you know, a good marketing ploy, like to put on your brick and mortar, like public restroom with purchase. Because at least you're making money for somebody to flush the toilet real quick or to use your bathroom.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I would be like, yo, all day long.
Yeah.
You got to drop a deuce, pop in. But you're buying double the product, you know? Whatever you got to do, you got to buy double the product.
Or like have a specific toilet product where it's like, maybe it's just $10, but $10 to flush the toilet. Like,
listen, it's like, but like get it creative, right? Like I'll never forget, I was there one year for the San Gennaro Fest, and it was obviously literally mobbed, right? And like, so it was like impossible. Every bathroom, every place said on it, not a public restroom. Like every place had that advertised. Get the F out of here, you're not going to the bathroom here.
Yeah.
And so like, it literally took us going to like 20 places to find one. Obviously different economy than with where that was. This is like 6-7 years ago. But now, even though this is so silly, right? Like realistically, if somebody's, like I've done this so many times. This is literally like, and it's literally like a few weeks ago when I was in the city. Like went to that Wix event. Like literally when I went there, I had to go to the bathroom so bad because I was in traffic in the tunnel, get out of the Holland Tunnel, get into the city. And then by the time I was close to my destination, I had to pee so bad. I literally pulled over and ran into a restaurant, right? And the guy saw me heading back to the bathroom. He goes, "Are you staying here?" I go, I'll buy a drink. So I bought like a soda.
Yeah.
But it's like, if somebody had that advertised on a window, or a public restroom with purchase, no problem.
Yeah.
Like I'll just go in there, right?
Because when you gotta go, you gotta go. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll pay for whatever if I can.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, really though.
Yeah. No,
really
seriously.
though. So anyway,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
so anyway, anybody in New York watching, you know, just think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Marketing tactic.
Yeah, deuce for product. You know, like, you know, whatever it is. In most cases, people got to go.
Maybe position it a little
bit. Yeah. Most people got to go peeps. You know, they don't got to drop the Call of Dookies, but you know, most people, right? They're in and out, right? And to get a quick purchase for someone using a bathroom, I mean, it sounds like a win-win. You know,
it does sound like a win-win. Especially
at least
like
to me,
you said, businesses are struggling in New York. New York has just changed so drastically over the past few years.
I think I saw 60 to 70% of the buildings are unoccupied.
I believe it.
That's
honestly.
scary. Look at how much buildings, and the problem that they're having though, I watched this thing on 60 Minutes, the problem that they're having right now is that the developers can't, like not all buildings are classified to be used for residential and commercial.
Right.
And then the only way, so like an example, there's like a 60 to 70 story tower, right, that's fully commercial, that like in theory, if it was just as easy as like, okay, let's make these just apartments now. Like, but they're not zoned for it. So like in order for them to do it, they'd have to knock the whole building down. And you're not doing that.
What a waste.
Right? You're not going to do that.
What
so
a
it's like
waste.
so it's like what do they do?
I mean, I don't know too much about that, but like what's the difference between commercial and residential aside from
it's like but they're gonna have to do something because people are not going back to work as often. You got JP Morgan and these other companies trying to force everybody back in. But it's like people are leaving jobs, taking huge pay cuts to work from home still. It's like, I don't want to spend all this money to travel into the city, to do this, to do that, like when I don't have to. Like I'd rather be convenient to my home. If I want to go in the office, I will, or if I want to go to a coffee shop, I can. And it's like, they don't want to do that. So like the tough part about the city is that the city was built on commerce.
Right.
And so like when you think about it, most of those beautiful buildings are office buildings, you know? So it's like, it's so difficult, and I hate it.
In a virtual world, what is it? I mean, you're right. People are also, I feel like the workforce is thinking about, I was talking to a friend this weekend, and he's like, he was going into New York for work, and he was like, it's just not worth it. He did take a pay cut to work closer to home, and he's like, because the amount of time it takes to commute into the city is just for what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because it's clout. It's the back in the day, right? Like you did it too back in the day, right? Like most people when we're younger, like unless your job really pulls you there, most people when they're young, they look at it from the perspective of like, my dream is to work in the city.
Oh yeah.
Because they want the hustle bustle. They want the movies, like the vibes of Wolf of Wall Street, or like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all these different movies and shit. Like
Yeah.
you know, you just want that vibe, which is a cool vibe. But the difference is once you're actually there and doing it, now that you have an option, it's like, like, do I really want that? Like, do I, you know, whatever. Like, I used to be in the city literally every week.
Yeah.
For years. And now, like, you know, most of those people that I would meet in the city are clients like that, like, they are like, let's just do it virtual.
Yeah, let's just do virtual.
So what's the point?
I wish somebody tell us to come back for a in-person meeting. I like New York. It has changed, but I'm a New Yorker at heart. So
Yeah.
if you want to meet up in person, let us know. We'll
Yes.
meet you for a coffee or a drink.
Absolutely.
In New York. All right, those are all the topics that I have right now. I was going to move into like a little motivational tip, but now that you're here,
I'll let you knock out your motivation tip. I'll jump on it.
I was just going to say, like, the past few weeks, I've been trying to, I've been trying just different things for productivity, and also each week, you know, you come in with a full task list, and sometimes it can feel kind of daunting. So
Yeah.
I've been talking about like different ways to tackle that. And this week, I'm trying the 2-minute rule, meaning if on my huge task list, if a task takes me 2 minutes or less, I'm just gonna do it now. There's no reason that I should wait for tomorrow
Love
or
that.
wait for a
Love
different
that.
time. Like, let's just do it now. Get all of the easy tasks out of the way, and then you're left with the ones that you need more focused time for, but at least your list is cleared. And there's so many times where I'm guilty of it too. Oh, we're having a conversation, you know, let me write down that 2-minute task instead of just doing it in the moment. So
Yeah.
this week, I'm challenging everybody to try the 2-minute rule. See how much you can get done by knocking out the small stuff this week, and see if you feel a little bit lighter at the end of the week. For me, I'm feeling like I have a lot to do, but I'm already tackling the small stuff, and it's making a huge chunk come out of my list.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal. And I've heard that saying, like, not particularly about like a quick task, but I've heard it like, don't leave today's problems and tasks for tomorrow, because then you're adding to tomorrow's problems or
Right.
challenges. So it's like, I like it from that perspective, especially the quick things. And that's big. Like, obviously, and on your side, like, you know, you and Chris's example are big, heavy notebook people. You have your list. And it's like stuff like that is awesome, because like if it's like, hey, just ask this person a question. Like normally I feel like people, like you put on your list,
Yeah.
and eventually I'll get to it, right?
Yep.
But like now it's like, boom, okay, done.
Yep, now I
Like,
just do it.
So I think it's phenomenal. But I also, just to piggyback on that, right? Because I'm back and I'm feeling motivated. It's like being like, one of the things that I think when I look at Elon Musk, when I look at like some of the people who are really not just building businesses, but like changing the world, right? Like I think Elon Musk is somebody, I know Elon Musk is somebody changing the world, right? And when you look at his philosophy and mentality, he looks at that, and I've given you this example a million times already, but he said, if you give yourself, you know, a day to clean your house, you'll get it done in a day. If you give yourself 2 hours to clean your house, you'll get it done in 2 hours, right? And I think a lot of us, you know, in our careers, we look, it's all perception and expectations and things like that we have, but so often we give ourselves these either too strict of timelines on ourselves or too long of timelines on ourselves, and it winds up really challenging and hurting us. And he said something, because somebody asked him a question recently in an interview I saw, and they're like, how do you keep going? Like how do you not get like fatigued and like you know, overwhelmed or like burnout? And he said something I think that was so profound, and he was like, burnout or fatigue or like, you know, any of those things in the workplace, they only happen when you're doing the things that like you don't want to be doing, right? Or when you let things build up to the point where it's become daunting. And he's like, most people won't put the investment in to like get super into it to clear out the back half of their month or their whatever it is. And so I just think ultimately, again, like we have to have that perception of like, you know, again, coming into this week, like, hey, we have a lot going on, right? And I really resonated with this primarily because I looked at it and I'm like, damn. So right now, as an example, like I was just sharing with Megan and Rob before, you know, we started going live here. Like right now, I looked at it, I was like, wow, like how is my schedule going to change once I have 3 kids? Because I'm a very, very involved, active father. Like that's like my most important thing. So like For me, it's not like, oh, like I'll let Jacqueline take care of everything with the kids, like, and I'm gonna go to work. Like, I am up with the kids at nighttime, I'm getting them ready, I'm doing baths, I'm doing all that stuff. So with that being said, like this past like week and into now, like this is the first, week I'm back in the office a little bit. And it's like, I was pretty much up all night last night, right? I had to feed the babies last night. I had to, help Jacqueline with that, obviously taking my shifts. And then this morning, obviously get Johnny ready, get the twins ready, go walk the dogs, start to do meetings with you guys, also doing other meetings with other companies that I'm involved in. And it's like, at the end of the day, what's so amazing, I think this is a piggyback off of Elon Musk and David Goggins. Literally, David Goggins says, when you feel like you cannot handle any more, whether you're running, you're working, whatever it is, working out, anything, he goes, you still have about 50 to 60% left in the tank. And he's like, but you just don't know you do. And recently, after I heard the Elon Musk thing, and I'm recently reading the David Goggins book, and I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, damn. I'm like, because if I were to go back 3 years ago and look at my schedule currently, like coming into today, like I'd be like, there's no way you're gonna get 3 kids ready, walk dogs, feed them, and then I have to take care of myself, obviously, right? Like I think my hair's okay, but like literally on all of that, and then get here, right? But my point in saying all this, based on what you're saying, is that everything is possible.
Yeah.
There are so many things that seem so daunting and impossible until you do it, and some things are really challenging. They're supposed to be. They're designed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. And honestly, I'll never forget, like when Jacqueline was having Johnny, like we were like, oh my God, like the labor nurse was in there, and she was like, Jacqueline, this is why it's called labor. It's not supposed to be easy. And but that's career. Your career is not meant to be a cakewalk. It's never supposed to be, especially if you're in a leadership position. It's never going to be a cakewalk. So nonetheless, it's all worth it. Set your mindset and expectation the right way, and it'll set you up for success. And guys, I'm glad to be back. I hope you crush the week ahead. And Q2 is on its way. But what's blowing my mind that I want you guys to leave this with is we have literally half the year left almost.
I know.
This is, we're
in
May, right? We're in May, and before you know it, we're going to be in June, which means that we have 6 months left of this year. What are you doing with it? That's my question.
Thinking about Christmas.
Yeah, but besides that, because I love Christmas, actually.
I mean, 6 months, it's crazy. This year has flown by, and it is a good reminder of, think about how fast the past 6 months have flown by. The next 6 months will go just as fast. So,
and give yourself a little grace. Give yourself a little grace and gratitude, right? Most people don't give themselves the grace and gratitude of how far they have come in 6 months. Yeah. So I think it's important to look at that. What has changed for you in 6 months? What have you done? What do you need to change? And it's a good rule, and it's a good measurement to help you continue on to finalize the year. But all right, guys, happy Monday. Again, if you know an entrepreneur, a salesperson, an executive, somebody who has a brand or just wants to grow on social media, send this to them, like, share, and subscribe. We're on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram. We stream this pretty much on all those places. But tune in every Monday at 9 a.m. sharp. See you next time.